Well, hello there, my bowfishing brethren. This is Tim Daniels from THS Sporting Center in Port Huron, Michigan, and fancying it up here with a 3D title. Went out for a bowfishing trip June 21st, 2022 in Lake Huron. A few days before this trip, there was a really hard-hitting storm. Big waves, all that kind of stuff, and afterwards, apparently, it apparently affected a lot of the fish, at least the bigger fish that were in. This evening, I don't think I seen a total of 10 common carp. That's how bad it was. I had to admit, though, some of the fish that I did see, being the few fish that I did see in carp, there were a couple of really nice ones. I think I shot one that was probably just under 20 pounds. It was definitely a good-sized, thick female. But I was seeing lots of smallmouth bass, dogfish, and bullheads on their beds, and they were all in the same area, in or around each other in these really thick weeds.
Oh, that was a nice one.
In this body of water, it is by far the most dogfish that I have ever seen, and most colorful ones too. These dogfish were like in their spawning colors. A lot of them had those green pectoral fins. There was tons of bullhead too in this area, and as I mentioned before, smallmouth. They were all jammed in this like little tiny canal that's just choked full of weeds. Occasionally, I like shooting at a couple of bullhead. I think, again, it's one of those things: aim small, miss small. Good target practice. Little tiny guys. The reason I probably don't shoot at more of them is that my fear is that I'll be playing around with that, and then all of a sudden the 45-pound common carp will come just swimming by, and I'll be playing around with that arrow stuck in the ground. It's definitely been a strange year. There was even more bullhead than dogfish, and I have never seen this many bullhead in my entire life. They were just, again, everywhere. They spawn sort of just like a catfish do. They try to make like a little tunnel or try to find some kind of piece of PVC or a rock or something that they can burrow into the side of, and they have their little nest down in those burrows. One of the things I do like about shooting dogfish is they put on a fight and a show. No other fish seems to fight as much, as consistently as dogfish do. They're always just like jumping, fighting, pulling to beat all hell. And for a small fish, they are sure a lot of fun. Not a trip goes by where I don't think I use my arrow out for trying to retrieve an arrow that's been snapped line. I probably should retie more often than I do, and occasionally I use that to pull other arrows that I come across where people have lost them. in this previous trip, I did recover one arrow. And again, it's, I guess, one of the spoils of bow fishing. You know, I've been poking at a gar a couple of times and rolling them and nicking them, and I was following them inshore, and all the way on shore, here's this carp trying to hide out. You know, it was like less than a foot from the shore, and I got a nice, decent one. I just thought it was sort of funny. Here he is, right up on the shore, super shallow water, hiding from me, or so he thought. You know, species identification can be tricky, and occasionally in some of my videos you'll see me sort of bending over and looking around. A lot of that gets edited out. But, you know, you don't want to mistake say a sheephead or freshwater drum for a smallmouth. You don't want to mistake a dogfish for a walleye. I've seen some weird things, you know, like stuff there's like no way in hell a walleye would be in, like, you know, 8 inches of water, you know, 100 yards from, you know, any type of real open water per se, like in really swampy areas, but yet there's one there occasionally. And I've been in areas where I'm shooting one after another freshwater drum sheephead, and have a deep shot, and lo and behold, there's a smallmouth down there. And it's a tough thing, but you should really try to look hard at their fins, try to look at their body shape. But even the best of us can get fooled occasionally. It does happen. You know, I think all that being said, this year I've been lucky. I haven't had any issues. But then again, I haven't been bow fishing as much this year. I think this trip here makes for my 6th trip out on the water. Really sad. Well, when a fish breaks off or comes off the arrow, you know, I often say it's a donation to the turtles. You know, the turtles are elated when they see me show up because, you know, they're going to be getting some easy meals coming up. You know, it's one of those things I probably should have grabbed a gaff, but, you know, hey, things happen, you know. Here I'm shooting my G-Rex that's set at 25 pounds, and I've been having problems with it shooting knock high. Always have. I've had the timing, you know, perfect. I've had the arrow a 1/4 inch high, or the knock set a 1/4 inch high. I've had it set level. I've made sure the tiller was dead perfect. You know, I've tried several things, and this bow has a tendency to shoot high. So one of the things I did this time is I advanced the timing slightly till the knock point started dropping back again. At least that was inside the showroom area here inside of a building, testing it at my store. When I got on the water, it did shoot better, but it's still shooting knock high. And I just take that into account when shooting these fish. And this bow is designed for shooting shallow water. You know, I guess design isn't really the real perfect word for it. It is set up for shooting shallow water. Would be a more accurate way of describing this setup. So this is a good clip. This is an example of what not to do. This is how not to use a gaff. I thought the arrow was barely in this fish. It ended up that it was in the fish better than I thought. And here I am fumbling with the gaff, not quite getting the fish. But nonetheless, I was able just to retrieve it, pull it up in the boat. I have to admit, I have not mastered a gaff yet. I wish to improve, and one of the things is keeping that tip sharp. I'm at fault for grabbing dock post occasionally and dulling mine down. Yeah, of all the different variations in carp, the quillback carp seems on average as the softest bodies. Uh, they're just the lightest in meat and rib structure. They seem to come apart the most, and those fish do tear off quite easily. You know, as far as the carp species that are in my waters in eastern Michigan, that species of carp is also the one that produces the whitest meat. We don't have any grass carp really on the east side of the state, but all the other ones definitely are much more dingy than this one. I've never tried the quillback yet. Try eating it. I'd probably be pretty good smoked. It is sort of cool, like when you're wrapping up your trip and you're evening out and you're getting back to the docks, and lo and behold, there's another fish hanging out there, and you lace it. You know, I guess it's a nice way to end an evening out on the water. You know, over the years, I've had several different ways of sort of cleaning up the boat. I had an onboard system with like a bladder tank, and now I've switched to a battery-powered power washer. So this thing is powered with a rechargeable battery like you would any other power tool. It has a little siphon at the end of it, which I weighed down to make sure it sits in the water deep enough. And it's good for rinsing off all of the fish slime, a little bit of blood, scales, and whatnot. I would not be using this thing to power wash your car. All in all, it was a great evening to be out on the water, but it wasn't a great evening to be shooting a lot of fish. I was really hoping to see a lot more common carp. I hope you all have a damn good day, or at least try like hell. Take care, my friends.